here's what I designed. Here's me choosing lumber, not knowing what my future actually has in store for this project. Let's start building the frame of the cabinet. I'm using 3/4 inch pine. First, mark the crosscut at 72 inches long. This measurement is going to dictate how tall the cabinet is. Your rip cut should be 20 inches.
Hi homies! So we are going to be making the top and the bottom of the cabinet. And to do this, I'm going to be cutting this 72-inch long piece of birch into 2 pieces. The length is 30 inches and the depth is 20 inches. To do this, I made a jig and we are going to be freehanding the cut, hoping that it doesn't turn out terribly.
It off? Is it off? No, it's on.
Oopsie.
I've been in this lumber store so often over the last few days that I basically live here. Usually, I'm just minding my business and someone asks, "Are you sure you know what you're looking for?" Yes, I sure didn't come here for the cupcakes.
It's time. We're about to build the frame of the cabinet. To do this, you're going to need the 4 pieces of wood that you cut earlier, the 2 side panels that measure 72 inches long by 20 inches deep, and also the 2 top pieces, the 2 top and bottom sections that we just cut that measure 30 inches wide by 20 inches deep. To assemble the frame, we are going to be using a pocket hole joinery. You're going to need a pocket hole jig, screws. I'm going to be using 1 1/4 inch pocket hole screws. You're also going to need your drill and, of course, safety equipment. Let's make a box.
First things first, I never start a build without a playlist. Building a project in silence is like watching TV with the captions on in a language you don't even understand. You want to ensure the top and bottom frame pieces align with the 20-inch depth of the side panel. Then you want to decide where you're going to add your pocket holes. I think I can explain this. Mercury is in retrograde. I added 3 groups of 2 holes to each side of the top frame. In total, each frame piece had 6 groups of 2 pocket holes, or 12 pocket holes in total, if that magically makes math make sense. You guys, I'm that person who will go to bed and have a nightmare that my project fell on top of me and broke into a million pieces, all because I didn't use wood glue. Yes, that's me. So, for my mental health, I always add wood glue before screws for my own sanity. It's an extra step, but I highly recommend it. It will help you sleep better at night. Once you're done with the glue up and it dries, you can go ahead and screw everything together.
Hi, here's a box that I haven't opened for 6 months because I don't really have an excuse for this one. I'm so excited to be unboxing the hardware for this cabinet with you guys. Here's the thing. Brass. I'm so happy about it. However, when you're shopping in a pandemic online, you don't really have the luxury to choose how brassy or how shiny you want something. So here we are. Let's check it out.
I knew my addiction to brass hardware would reign supreme for this project. I bought these angled legs on Amazon when humans were not allowed outside. As for the door hardware, I've really been wanting to use vintage plates on a project. These are more rustic than vintage, but you get the idea. Adding things to my Etsy cart that I'm not sure about is a toxic hobby that I have. Does anyone else do that?
Hi homies, we're in the home stretch. I attached the top and the bottom to the right side panel, and now I'm going to flip the frame over and attach the left side panel, and then we'll be done with the frame construction.
You don't have to do this, but I chose to use pocket hole plugs to conceal the pocket holes that I made.
I want to talk about mitered ends because this can be a little bit confusing if you're not a professional woodworker or a carpenter, which I am not. And for total transparency, I've cut a lot of incorrect pieces of wood. So I don't want you guys to waste money like I did. Here's the thing. What is a mitered edge or what is a mitered cut? Before I even explain this, go and buy a speed square. It's a triangle. I understand that sounds crazy. But essentially it has a 45-degree angle and a square angle, which is 90 degrees. Go get one. Now, go pause this video and go get one. This is a 90-degree cut, which means it's straight up and down, right? Easy. This is a mitered cut. It is not straight up and down. It's at an angle. You can use a miter saw to cut different angles in your wood, but 45 is just a very popular miter cut. And that's the cut that we used for these pieces of trim. Here is how you ensure that your miter cuts come out perfect. Wood comes at a 90-degree angle. You're going to take your speed square, hook that on to the top of your wood, and you get a beautiful 90-degree angle. Take your pencil, make your mark, adjust your miter saw to 45 degrees, and cut it. That is going to give you an angle like this. That makes no sense.
One more time. Measure the exact length of your trim piece, make a mark with your pencil at the desired length, take your speed square and mark the 45-degree angle off of the initial pencil mark you made for the length. Line the wood up with the saw fence for stability, repeat your safety steps in your mind before prepping to cut. Adjust your miter saw depending on the angle that you need, and let your saw do the rest.
Moving on, we are working on the door of the cabinet. We've mitered all of our trim pieces 45 degrees, and to complete the design of the door, I am adding a divider. This is not mitered, it's cut at a straight 90 degrees. I am going to be adding this divider about 45 inches from the top of the door so that it creates a taller or longer segment at the top and a shorter segment at the bottom of the door. I think. I have to edit this. I don't know what I just said.
Where would we all be without wood glue? I applied enough to each piece of trim for a tight bond to the cabinet door. I used my clamps to secure the trim pieces to the door while the glue dried. I don't understand how I've never been kicked out of a store.
We are going to be using half rounds, and a half round essentially looks like a dowel rod cut in half. One side is flat, one side looks like the front of a round. They sell them like this, which means you don't have to rip them down on a table saw. I made a stop block so that I don't have to measure every time I cut a rod. So let's start cutting 5 million pieces of half rounds.
What exactly is a stop block, and why is mine so ugly? A stop block is a piece of wood that's clamped down at a set distance from your miter saw blade. When the end of the board is set against the stop block, it will be cut at that exact length every time. It also saves you enough time for you to be a karate kid. After I cut all of the half rounds to the desired length, I lined them up to ensure they all fit before gluing them to the cabinet door. If you're following along, just a tip, do not glue your divider down until you measure. Measure twice, glue once. I used a total of 35 pieces of half rounds on each side of the divider, which means I used a total of 70 pieces to complete the final design of the door.
Hi homies, I need to get up and go get paint to paint this cabinet. But it's just so peoply outside. Let's go.
You guys, I'm not buying flat paint. I chose Sherwin-Williams interior exterior trim enamel in a satin finish for this project. Committing to paint color stresses me out.
So I'm locking in my car because I didn't want to waste a bag.
Pick up shelf pegs, a level, your drill, and a drill bit for whatever size shelf pegs you buy. My pegs called for a 3/16 of an inch drill bit. I taped my drill bit so that I know exactly how deep to drill into the wood for my shelf pins. It also stops you from drilling too far into the side panel. I made 3 shelves that measured 19.5 inches deep by 29.75 inches wide. Next, I used iron-on edge banding to conceal the plywood edges.
Can you believe it? I am done with the frame assembly. I just put in the brackets for the shelves to sit on, and now the only way to test if the shelves are actually level is by putting them into the cabinet. So let's do that.
Forget to use your safety equipment when painting and priming. Ugh, paint swatches! After eliminating 10, I still left the store with this many. If you're using a spray gun, filters and a little water are your best friends. This will help to thin the latex and remove any particles in the paint. Here's the color that I chose. Sherwin-Williams Accessible Beige. It's the perfect, true beige color that's not too warm and yellow and not too gray and cool. Thin your paint by using your filter and a little bit of water. Shake it like you mean it before loading your spray gun. Sanding between coats gives you a smooth surface to work with without fail each time. The quality of your paint jobs will show with the extra effort from a fine grit sandpaper. We're at the 3-month mark on the front porch makeover, and the floor is holding up like it's the first day I laid the brick. Thanks so much for all the love on that video, homies. Let's add the door hinges. To do this, you'll need a pencil. You can use a Forstner bit and a drill, or you can buy a jig with indexing cams, stop collar, hex wrench, drill guide, and the 35mm bit like I did.
I decided to add wallpaper to this project in the last 24 hours. So to do this, all you're going to need is textured wallpaper. I have an X-Acto knife and my edge trimmer. And I also used some Bondo tools to smooth the wallpaper on. It looks a little more interesting than just painting the back of the cabinet door. So it's definitely crooked. Like, without a doubt, it's definitely crooked.
Now that I've wallpapered over the interior of the door, I also wallpapered over the hinge cups. So I need to go in and open these up so that I can fit the hinge into the cups again. To do this, I'm going to take my X-Acto knife, and what I'm going to do is find the hole, which is right there, and I'm just going to peg in the middle. Make a small little hole, and then I'm just going to cut out a little bit of the middle so that the cup of the hinge can fit inside. You don't want to cut around the hole or too close to it, because once the cup goes into the hole, it's going to press the wallpaper out and you don't want to have any rips and tears. So I'm just going to cut a little hole, just open it up a little bit. Then I'm going to take the hinge, like so. You want to take your 2 screws and your drill and put the screws into the holes. Now, I've already squared up my holes, so I just need to find where the hole is. Take your drill. You can clamp this down if you want to, but I'm a Sagittarius. This is not a debate. Why are you not using soft close hinges?
Here's my confessional. I don't know why these things happen to me. I just want to light a match and burn it down. I am like the Evel Knievel of trying things and the Forrest Gump of executing them. I fail so easily. I broke my project. What's happening? Okay, so I made this door and I didn't take into consideration how heavy the door would be and how puny I made the frame. The door is over 60 pounds. The thing is mad heavy. This is mad weak. Son. The door, when I put the hinges on the frame, it's ripping out and breaking. It also didn't help that I tried to dance inside of the frame because I thought that would somehow be a good idea. So we are gonna go back to the lumber store and try to figure out how to make this puny little frame strong enough to hold the door. Let's go to the lumber store. And why is wood so expensive?
Get one final round of measurements before you go to the lumber store. Pack your measuring tape. Let's go. I went in fully convinced that I would buy Poplar because of how strong it is, but $40 for 10 feet? My wallet wanted the always faithful pine. You know what this means. Let's get down to business.
So this is what I came up with after buying more wood to fix this disaster that happened. Adding 4 pieces of 1x4 to trim out the side panel of the cabinet.
This is our heavy door. And what was originally happening, because this was the entire cabinet and it is so weak and the door is so heavy, once I attach the hinges to the interior of the door, because the door is so heavy, it's ripping out of the cabinet.
I'm hoping that this additional surface area is going to give some stability to the cabinet, and then it's able to hold the weight of the door once the hinges go through the panel and into the 1x4.
Fingers crossed it works.
I cannot guarantee that this is going to work. Stay tuned. You guys, I don't know if this is going to work. I'm not going back to buy more wood. This better work.
I added 2 additional hinges to give this more support. This is the door that has the hinges attached, and this is going to attach to the frame of the cabinet. Hopefully the door doesn't fall off again. hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you laughed once or twice, don't forget to subscribe. Cheers from this girl who didn't even use the vintage hardware. I read all of your messages and you all honestly keep me creative. If you giggled or laughed, give this video a thumbs up so I know you're fun, and I'll see you guys in the next video.